In this short video, we want to talk about averages. Now, this is a topic that many of you will be familiar with. You'll have encountered it perhaps at school or through work or indeed in the course of your ordinary everyday life experiences. In which case, if you are fluent with the topic, just leave this class and move on to something else. But some people like just to have a refresh, go back over it again and bring everything up to speed. So it's a short class, it's a very straightforward class. It deals with simple arithmetic averages, which are the simplest form of averages, and it shows how to work these out. So it's not demanding, and it shouldn't take us long to get through it. If you are slightly worried about numbers, or you're a bit confused about how to go about it, do take notes, stop the video from time to time, and do some reading up at the end as well. There's plenty of information online about averages. So let's look at simple arithmetic averages. When we make comparisons between groups of numbers, we often pick one figure to represent each group. It's the way we think as humans. We have a big group of numbers and we have another big group of numbers. We tend to look for some statistic, some figure which illustrates the difference between the two sets. So for example, teachers in schools will talk about students or pupils of a certain age. They'll say the average age in this class is 10, the average age in that class is 11. So they're using the averages to distinguish between different groups. But we use it a lot in business, we use it a lot in the course of our everyday lives. We like to be able to summarize something which is quite large and quite difficult to comprehend. We summarize it with one figure if we can. And often the figure we use is the average. There are other measures. We could talk about the median, which is the middle point of the group. Or we could talk about the mode, which is the most frequently encountered number or attribute within a particular group. So there are different ways of measuring it, but we're going to stick here with the simple arithmetic way. And we want to distinguish between groups, and often, as I said, we might go for this type of average as an indicator of the differences between the groups. The figure usually lies towards the center of the group and is often called a measure of central tendency. Well, the average it weighs up the group on either side, and it's, in a sense, it's a middle figure. It balances the group. If we took a class of 50 students and we took their weight, we weighed them, and then we take an average, then half the group should be heavier, half the group should be lighter. So in a sense we've gone towards the middle. That's what averages do. Our first measure of central tendency is normally the arithmetic mean. This is in a sense the simplest one to deal with, and it's often the one we go for first. Later on, when we become more expert in statistics, we will look at the mode, the median, and we'll look at different measures associated with these. But here we're going to stick with the arithmetic mean. There are different types of mean, I should say also. There is a geometric mean, which we're not going to concern ourselves with here. That may be the subject matter of a separate discussion. But there are different types of mean as well, different types of average. Mean and average mean the same thing. So the arithmetic mean, well, this is simply an average as used in everyday language. It's the sum of the items divided by the number of items. And that's how we work it out. We add up all of the information, add it all up, and then we divide out by the number that goes to make up that total. For example, Find the average of the following numbers: 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Well, how we would work the average out here is as follows. We would simply take 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6. Now we have 5 numbers. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's 5 numbers. Now if we add up the figures on the top, the numerator is 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6. The denominator, the number under the line of division, is 5. We have 5 numbers. The top numbers sum to 20. 5, 10, yep, 20. Just to make absolutely sure. Divided by 5, so the average is 4. Now if you look at the numbers here, these numbers are in sequence. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The middle number is 4. That's what I was saying earlier. Averages tend to go towards the middle. If you look at 4 here, we've got 2 numbers on the left and we have 2 numbers on the right. So we have a center location. In different calculations, it wouldn't be as clear cut as what I've just described here. We might have a decimal place. It might be 4.29 or whatever it is. So often it's not as clear cut, but this one is. You can see clearly that we've picked up here the middle number. We've done our calculation here. We've worked out the average, and it's the middle number. Find the arithmetic mean of this number. 354871. Well, we do exactly the same as we did before. The fact that we have the numbers jumbled doesn't make any difference. Or the fact that we've got more numbers, it doesn't make any difference. The technique is still the same. We still add up the numbers on the numerator, so it's 3 plus 5 plus 4 plus 8 plus 7 plus 1. This time we have 6 numbers divided by 6, so the denominator is 6. That means when we add up the numbers, we get 28 divided by 6, which is 4 2/3, or 4.666. So in general, if we have a set of numbers, just call them x1. We don't know what the numbers are, just a set of numbers. x1, x2, x2 is obviously a different number to x1, x3, x4, and so on until we get up to xn. So we have a set of numbers, and we'll say there are n numbers, where n is whatever the set of numbers is. We might have 6 numbers in which case xn would be 6. Then the arithmetic mean, which is x bar, the line across the x is known as a bar, and this represents the average. That's how we write an average usually. We write x or whatever it is, y or whatever it is, and we draw a line across the top. That means it's the average, x bar. Now, the next bit may look intimidating. What we've done to find the average is we've added up x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 and so on until we get up to xn. It's exactly what we did before in the previous slides. We have n numbers, so we divide by n, whatever n is. N might be 6. We have 6 numbers, so it'd be x1 is the first number, x2 is the second number, x3 is the next number, and so on. We've got 6 numbers, divide by n, when n might be 6. Whatever it is, depends. But the way we write that in statistics does look very sophisticated and complicated. Let me just explain this number here too, this expression, because actually it's very, very straightforward. We're going to add up all the numbers in our set xn. I said to you we might have 6 numbers, so we're going to add up the 6 numbers, and we're going to divide by the number of numbers, which would be 6, which is exactly what we did in the previous slide. If we skip back for a moment, that's what we had. We had 6 numbers here divided by 6, which gave us our average. We just dealt with that one. Now here, what this symbol here means, it means sigma. It's the Greek letter for S. S for sum. We're going to sum up. We're going to add up all the numbers. And what numbers are we going to add up? Well, we're going to add up the number which starts at 1. So it's telling us n equals 1. That's where we're starting. We're going to add n equals 1, n equals 2, n equals 3, and so on up to n equals n, until we get to the number n, the nth number. We're going to add these up. So we've got the expression here, the summation of xn from n equals 1 to n equals n. And that's just what we've got over here, this line here. It's another way of writing it. It's a shorter way of writing it. It does look very complicated, but it is actually very straightforward. We're just adding up this, so we're telling here that we're going to go when n equals 1, we have x1. Then we're going to add this to, sum it. There's the sum. Now it takes on the next value, n equals 2. n equals 2. Takes on the next one, n equals 3. We haven't got it here, but it will be in there. And finally, we have xn, so we go to xn here. And when we do all of that, we divide by n to get our average. Go back here for a second. We divide by the number, 2, 4, 6. Divide by 6. So 6 is like our n in the next slide. So similar to here. So that's how we calculate it. And that's the more sophisticated way of writing an average. And you will see this in textbooks and in notes, often quoted. Now find the average of 27970. Well, the solution is we just add up. Here we have 5 numbers. Divide by 5 is 25 over 5, which is equal to 5. So the average is 5. You see, we can't see the average in here. There's no 5 in here. But that doesn't matter. 5 is the average. So some of the numbers are greater than 5, some of the numbers are less than 5. In fact, the number 5 balances the two sides. What we should do, I suppose, to see it more clearly is to write this out. Write it out as 02779. But when you divide by 5, because of the 0 mostly, we get this, and 5 is the answer. Find the arithmetic mean here. Now this is an interesting set of numbers, because minus 2 plus 2, minus 7 plus 7. Well, add it up. Minus 2 plus 2, minus 7 plus 7 is equal to 0. These cancel out. We have 4 numbers, so we divide by 4. 0 divided by 4 is 0. If you divide nothing by 4, you still have nothing. So, what's the arithmetic mean of the following set of numbers? 2 minus 10, minus 5, 2, minus 6, 11. And it's going to be one of these. We're given this set of answers here, so we have to pick the right one. Which one is it? Well, the answer is minus 6. We haven't been given that. Oh, sorry. This is we pick it from here. So what is the appropriate number here? Which one is the average? So that was a bit confusing. Now, if the arithmetic mean of the following set of numbers is 4, what's the missing number? So we know that the arithmetic mean is 4. What is the missing number? And the numbers we're given is 2, 1, 6, 3 and a question mark, the missing number. Well, if we write down what we know about averages, we know that when we add up the set of numbers and divide by the number of numbers, we get the average. So if we know that the average is 4 and we're going to have 5 numbers, let's just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to have 5 numbers here. We know that the average is 4. That means the sum of these numbers must be 20. So the sum of the numbers must be 20. And the answer, therefore, is 8. Because 8 is the only number which will give us the average of 4. So let's explain that again. We know that the average is 4. We're going to have 5 numbers. So 5 times 4 is 20. So the numbers must add up to 20. Currently, the numbers add up to 12. So the number that's missing is 8. So it's none of these. It's 8. And that's how we do simple calculations, working out averages. We simply tot up the numbers and divide by the number. Here we've got 4, as I said earlier. We've got 4 numbers. Add up the total up here. In this case comes to 0. Divide by the number, which is 4. 0 divided by 4 is 0. So the average is 0. And that's how we work out averages. Very straightforward, but worth refreshing if you haven't done it for a while. But that's all we're going to deal with here, so let's leave it at that and say thank you for watching.